and it sounds like a freight train coming through.
Right now, all I see people running. They're still running and screaming.
These structures are not meant to withstand anything like this.
Still not recovered from the devastating earthquake earlier this year, Haiti is now struggling with another nightmare, cholera.
It's Haiti's nightmare scenario, an outbreak of deadly disease killing scores in a country already on its knees.
This is my third time back here in Haiti since the earthquake, and on the surface it may look like things haven't changed all that much. I mean, yes, there is still rubble in many parts of the city of Port-au-Prince. And even on the way from the airport into Port-au-Prince, you see a sea of blue tarps as over 1 million people still remain homeless and living in those new tent cities.
Somehow, a year has slipped by since that January afternoon, when the ground heaved and twisted, tearing buildings and hundreds of thousands of lives apart. After a year, the worst of the rubble around Haiti's wrecked National Cathedral is gone. But it's still a broken, empty shell. The presidential palace stands, barely. It's a crumpled ruin behind fences and a perfectly manicured lawn. On the other side of the wire, there's a camp, one of many. 1 million Haitians are still living under tarps or tents, and many are angry.
This country have too many poor people, too many suffering people, too many struggling people who sleeping in the street.
Since that January day, they have endured hunger, thirst, homelessness, storms, and the return of a disease long forgotten.
And this is what?
It's just chlorine. So it kills absolutely everything.
31-year-old Melbourne man Matthew Cochrane works for the International Red Cross.
And make sure there's nothing nasty on your hand.
Sure.
This is a cholera treatment centre, one of hundreds. The first outbreak of the waterborne disease was reported last October. With so many washing in filthy water, the disease quickly claimed the elderly and the young. So far, it's killed 3,500.
Lots of children.
Yeah. And for kids, it's just deadly. I mean, it's a few hours, you know, it's terrifying how quick it happens. It's like at the first sign, at the first suspicion that your little one has got cholera, you bring them to a treatment centre, because if you wait a couple of hours to find out, tragically, and it happens, it's going to be too late.
A year ago, she was buried under rubble. She lost a brother and her father and wasn't pulled out for 9 days. The 12-year-old has come a long way since we first saw her on a hospital floor. In recent months, the family moved from a tarp-covered camp to a small flat.
The owners of this home have taken such pride that they've actually added a porch. You even see Christmas lights. It's an incredible example of what happens when you give somebody a little bit and they make it their own. You have made a difference here in Haiti.
Before I received my shelter, I was living at the same place where my house collapsed, in a tent with my family, and now I live in my shelter. It's a big improvement. It's a great shelter for me and my family. I'm very happy with it.
Each of these homes are built to withstand an earthquake and provide shelter from the weather, as well as safety and even protection from theft and violence. But something else happens as well. By building these homes, World Concern is actually making it part of long-term community development. So these homes are actually part of transforming an entire community.
He says thank you very much to the people who helped the organization or who helped them do these shelters. It's something I couldn't have done for myself, and I'm very grateful.
Haiti still faces an uphill fight, but World Concern is here to meet urgent needs such as the cholera outbreak that has hit Haiti. But also we know that to transform a community, we have to invest for the long term, and that's where things like these houses come into play.